One of the most common questions this channel receives goes as follows. What is the best civ for newcomers to multiplayer Civ 6? And, for this question, my answer has always been the same. Cree. The bonuses for this civ are easy to use, they're very consistent, and most importantly of all, they're very powerful. At one point, the record for the fastest science victory in CPL's history was even set by a player playing this civ. If there was any surviving footage of that game, I'd gladly make a video stepping through it. However, all we have left from that former record is this screenshot. So, in today's video, we'll settle for stepping through a multiplayer game I recently played as the Cree in order to illustrate why this civ has become such a popular pick among newbies and veterans alike. When playing as this civ, we always want to start the game by researching animal husbandry. This is because our first order of business as the Cree is locating where we'll be sending our internal trade routes to. You see, our leader bonus grants us bonus food on all trade routes based on the number of camps/pastures at the destination. While most civs that run a conventional internal trade route opener can just default to always sending their trade routes to their capital, this isn't necessarily the case for the Cree. In cases like this game, where we don't have many pastures or camps that we can build in our capital, we'll want to use our second city as our trade route destination, making sure to settle it somewhere with as many camps and pastures available as possible. And would you look at this, we've found the perfect spot. By settling our second city here, we have access to 7 potential camps and pastures within 3 tiles of the city, all of which will provide +1 food to all internal trade routes sent to the city. Of course, we start producing a builder right away in order to build said camps and pastures. Rewinding a bit, let's talk about our scouts. The unique unit of the Cree, the Okihtcitaw, is a bit stronger than a regular scout and starts with a free promotion. For this promotion, we always choose extra movement on hills. This is for 2 reasons. First, multiplayer games in CPL are played with the World Age setting set to New, which increases the number of hills that spawns. Secondly, moving on to hills is generally preferable to moving on to forests, as hills provide more vision on surrounding terrain. These scouts are one of the key reasons Cree is considered to be one of the most consistent civs in the game. Not only can they cover more ground than other scouts thanks to the free promotion, they also provide a critical +4 era score in the Ancient Era when we produce our first copy. Between this unique scout and the unique tile improvement we have access to, the Cree have +8 era score easily available to them in the Ancient Era, making it nearly impossible for us to miss our first Golden Age. On turn 17, the time finally arrives for us to choose our Pantheon. As a civ, the Cree don't have a strong preference for any particular Pantheon, so our choice is going to depend upon our spawn. In this game, we'd like to get our hands on Goddess of the Hunt for bonus yields on camps, but unfortunately it's already been taken by another player. Therefore, we elect to go for the generically useful option of religious settlements, gaining some extra production towards settlers and extra tiles upon settling new cities. As for our governor titles, we elect to go for Magnus in order to take advantage of the extra yields he provides on internal trade routes. Of course, he goes in our second city, as we've positioned the city to maximize the bonus food granted on internal trade routes by our leader bonuses. Our build order from here is pretty much just the classic Magnus commercial hub opener. We place down a commercial hub as the first district in all of our cities, take the Penbrush and Voice Golden Age dedication for some extra culture so we can reach feudalism faster, and use the trade route capacity we get from building markets to send internal trade routes to our Magnus city. These trade routes allow us to jumpstart new cities with a huge infusion of food and production right away. Breaking with convention, however, we put the government plaza in our second city rather than our capital. This is because the Gov Plaza grants +1 food and +1 production on domestic trade routes sent to the city it's in, so it should always go wherever we're sending our trade routes to. This highly ordinary game plan is a big part of what makes Cree such a good civ for beginners. When we play a civ with a highly exotic build order, such as Gaul, we're essentially only getting practice towards playing, well, Gaul. However, the practice we get by playing Cree will carry over to playing the majority of other civs, as most of them can incorporate commercial hub spam and Magnus internals into their build orders. That isn't to say that we play the Cree the same way in every game. In this game, for instance, we're going for both the pyramids and the Colosseum. The pyramids are a no-brainer to go for whenever a flat desert tile is available. In multiplayer with the Better Balanced Maps mod, flat desert tiles are rare enough that most players in the lobby won't even be capable of contesting this wonder, so the odds of missing it are pretty slim. As for the Colosseum, the extra amenities it grants are especially welcome on a civ like the Cree, as we gain an enormous amount of extra food from our civ bonuses. This can make it harder to maintain high amenity breakpoints than normal. It's common for players to underestimate just how important hitting breakpoints like +3 and +5 amenities is. In BBG, having happy cities results in +8% extra production, science, culture, faith, and gold. And having ecstatic cities doubles this bonus to 16% extra yields. Working on the Colosseum to get those juicy yield multipliers isn't all we're doing though. In the great person screen, we're making the play of a lifetime. This is pure skill right here. You can hear me outplaying my opponents as we speak. Thanks for the trade route capacity. An extra trade route capacity is no joke when our trade routes are this good. At this point, all of our cities have more food than they know what to do with. The fact that Cree gets so much food is what enables it to set such ridiculously strong paces in specific scenarios, such as when the CPL Science Victory record was set on this civ. When the land is yellow and the tiles are hilly, the Cree can really pop off. What do I mean by yellow? I'm referring to having plains tiles rather than grassland tiles. You see, setting aside generally useless terrains like desert and tundra, there are 4 types of land tiles that exist prior to adding features and resources to the map. Flat grasslands, flat plains, grassland hills, and plains hills. Hills are preferred to flat tiles, as we're able to build mines on them for extra production. With the apprenticeship technology, a grassland mine is 2 food, 3 prod, and a plains mine is 1 food, 4 prod. When we're getting 11 food from each internal trade route, plains hill tiles become vastly preferable to grassland hill tiles. So, what does our spawn look like? Never accuse me of only God spawning again. On turn 46, we hit Feudalism and, as per usual, pump out a ton of builders everywhere to improve everything in our empire. Shortly afterwards, we're able to complete the Colosseum with some chops. Oh my god, it doesn't finish. How close is this city? 2 prod off. It's 2 production away. We push out 2 more settlers in order to settle the last of our cities. Looks like we'll be playing a 9-city game this time around. With the Colosseum's help, we should be able to hold +5 amenities everywhere, even with all of the extra population we'll have from our food bonuses. One thing of note is that, while we chop all of our forests on hills so that we can build mines, we improve many of the flat woods tiles with lumber mills instead. You see, if we chopped all of the woods tiles in these really flat cities, they'd be stuck with very low production for the rest of the game. Consequently, the only way we can make these cities pull their own weight in the long run is to build lumber mills. Finally, we're ready to start building out our science infrastructure. Campuses start going up in most of our major cities, and we begin the process of filling them out with libraries. In the meantime, we settle a city without access to any fresh water just south of our capital. While this location may seem suspect at first, we can salvage it by using our unique tile improvement, the Mekewap. As we've unlocked the Civil Service Civic, this improvement grants +2 prod and +2 housing whenever we build it. While this seems like a straight upgrade to a mine at first glance, the reality is that mines are still, for the most part, preferred. This is for 2 reasons. 1, mines will be upgraded to granting +3 production each upon reaching the industrialization technology, and 2, limiting our housing in some of our flatter cities is actually preferred, as they don't have many good tiles to work and we want to keep our growth under control so that we can maintain +5 amenities everywhere. Still, we build some Mekewaps in all of our hilly cities so that they can grow big enough to work all of their good tiles. One thing of note is that we're getting a massive industrial zone set up at the core of our empire by clustering our industrial zones around some aqueducts and a dam. This will ultimately result in 2 +8 industrial zones as well as a +5, which is massive. We were actually planning this setup all the way back in the ancient era, when we first placed our commercial hubs in such a way as to leave room for it. Turn 58 rolls around, and it's time for us to choose our second Golden Age dedication. In this case, we choose to go for free inquiry for some extra science. By slotting in the Town Charter's policy card to double our commercial hub adjacency as we switch our government to Merchant Republic, free inquiry is immediately giving us an extra 48 science per turn, and it further grants us a little bit of extra progress on every Eureka we trigger. Furthermore, we're finally able to form our first alliance, which thanks to our Civ bonuses, grants us shared vision with our ally. This bonus is another big reason that the Cree are such a consistent, beginner-friendly Civ. By sharing vision with our allies, we're basically guaranteed to have every single scientific city-state in the world revealed, which is critical since putting 3 envoys in them grants us +3 science in every city with a library and university per blue city-state. Meaning 4 blue CS versus 0 is the difference between each library granting 2 science versus 6, and each university granting 4 science versus 12. Additionally, this shared vision is granted to our allies as well, which means players are more likely to want to be friendly with us. This is a very nice bonus for newcomers to have in free-for-all games, for obvious reasons. As our industrial zone setup starts to come together, we have to start figuring out what to spend all of our production on. At this stage of the game, there's usually a clear answer: campus research grants. This is not for the additional science per turn granted by the projects, but rather for the bursts of great scientist points earned upon the project's completion. You see, the Renaissance era has 4 great scientists, 3 of which are extremely good. Even if multiple players are spamming campus research grants to compete with us for these scientists, odds are that we'll be able to get our hands on at least one of them, so the risk of running these projects is fairly minimal. However, this lobby's asleep, so we're able to grab both Galileo and Isaac Newton on turn 62. Now that's some good value. Our science is pretty much skyrocketing at this point, so we need to start paying some attention to bolstering our culture. Unfortunately for us, Canada and Teddy Bullmoose are grabbing so many great writers and artists that the remaining ones are very expensive, so theater squares aren't a great option for us at the moment. Instead, we elect to go for Chichen Itza, which will help by granting us some extra culture and production on the large number of otherwise useless flat rainforest tiles we have in our cities. With our universities going up, our science is skyrocketing. Don't forget that we also have plus 16% extra science for maintaining plus 5 amenities in every city. Wait, scratch that, we just got Ibn Khaldun. Make that plus 22.4% extra science in every city from amenities. Scientists aren't the only great people we want to run projects for, however. There are some terrific great engineers up for grabs in the Renaissance era, notably Brunelleschi and Da Vinci. As it so happens, we managed to snipe Filippo Brunelleschi, which lets us have our pick of any top-tier wonder we want. In this instance, we elect to go for Forbidden City for an extra wildcard policy slot. Typically, we'd use this engineer on the Oxford University instead, but it's clear in this game that we can take our time with Oxford, since everyone else in the lobby has at least 3 fewer techs completed than us, and our plus 8 industrial zones will allow us to outproduce them for the wonder easily. As we start on Oxford University, it looks like the late game is shaping up exactly as we expected. You see, CPL has historically been a small enough community that there's no matchmaking for free-for-all games. Instead, lobbies have always been formed on a first-come, first-serve basis. This results in a mixed skill environment where some lobbies can have large disparities in the rating of each player. In this particular lobby, it was clear from the outset that the endgame would likely evolve into a 1v1 between us and the player Geith, who picked Teddy Bullmoose here. Late games against Teddy are usually all the same. This civ likes to rush along the top of the tech tree to unlock film studios and then grab the computer's technology for the 50% extra tourism empire-wide in order to secure a fast culture victory. When he spawns as far away from us as he did in this game, killing Teddy is no easy feat. Typically, players will grab the advanced flight technology and pump out a ton of their unique P-51 Mustang units, which are a nightmare to push into. Not only are they stronger than regular fighters, a good Teddy player will likely have the fascist legacy policy card and will have entered into democracy in order to stack it with the their finest our policy card, making Mustangs a formidable threat that are basically impossible to kill using our own planes. So, our plan here is simple. We make a bunch of tanks and artillery to kill Korea, who's positioned between us and Teddy. Afterwards, our plan is to rush to finish the Manhattan Project and get our hands on some nuclear missiles, which is the only way we'll actually be able to kill P-51 Mustangs. The game is shaping up to have a fun finale, but it ends up being cut short. You see, Gaith started this game late at night, and now he's feeling really sleepy. He's just such a sleepy boy, you see. Because of this, the game is conceded with us in first place on turn 81. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't get to play out such an interesting late game, but honestly, I'm just glad my internet managed to avoid cutting out for long enough to complete an actual multiplayer Civ game. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you want to see more content like this, be sure to check out my BBG Civ Spotlight playlist, where I cover the unique build orders of a variety of Civs. I'll also be uploading the full VOD of this game to this channel shortly, in case you want to see exactly how we ended up with 500 science per turn without even building any research labs. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. That's all for now. Herson, signing out.